Okay, you want to buy an older home or buying an older building. What are the key things you need to look out for? So before we start, I'm a mortgage lender. My team's in 50 states. We've been one of the top purchase teams in America for the last few years. We're here to help you. So call us 786-933-2077. We will help you get a great mortgage and we will give you lots of unsolicited advice. I want your house to be a benefit, not a burden, and there are certain things you need to consider when you're looking at buying a house. So this video is really about properties 1930 and earlier. That's right. There's parts of the country where most of the houses are 1900 to 1920, and then there's other parts of the country where, there may be a specific area that has older homes. Buying these is different than just buying a house that was built yesterday. There's other considerations you really need to keep in mind. Otherwise, you can end up spending a lot more money once you're a homeowner than you're planning for, okay? Now, first of all, would I ever buy an older home without a very thorough home inspection? No, I wouldn't do that on anything, but like older homes especially, get the extra inspections. You need to go deep because repairing anything can be very expensive, okay? The first and biggest thing that you need to know is the property deemed historic, okay? There's some parts of the country where there's areas of older homes, so nothing's really considered historic. There may be one or two houses, but then there's other parts of the country, like I'm thinking of Carmel, California, where a lot of the houses are older, a lot have character, but there's some that are deemed historic. If the property is deemed historic, there's going to be a historical preservation society that you're going to have to get permission to do any changes to that house. So if the property is deemed historic, you need to find out all the rules up front. I've looked into buying a couple houses before that were deemed historic. Every single time I looked into the rules, I walked away. And the reason was simple. With a lot of these historical preservation societies, you become a caretaker of the house. You can't change anything. And I get it. I do think that we need to preserve older properties. I do think that having the character and charm that they exude is really good for communities. But I think you need to know what you're getting into. If I was incredibly wealthy and had the ability, to do that, would I... Even still, having to get permission to change a window, it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. And even if you have the money and the sense of humor, it is a process. So you just want to know what you're getting into. Okay, what are the big ticket items with older homes that can make you really not like your house? Electrical, plumbing, and foundation. So the first thing you always want to know is, has the house been rewired? And you're like, well, wait, does a house need to be rewired? If it's that old, it should have been rewired. So I'm talking 1930s and prior, because by now the electrical systems they were using are outdated. So for instance, a lot of times people have already rewired the house, which is great for you as a buyer. My sister, when she bought her most recent house, and she loves historic homes, she knew what she was getting into, she had to rewire the house, okay? And it wasn't cheap. This was, I don't know how many years ago, probably 8 to 10, and it was over $30,000. And that was 8 to 10 years ago. So now with inflation, it's probably $100,000, right? And sometimes you'll see houses where you're like, oh, well, it's just been renovated. Yeah, I've seen quite a few renovations where people have taken older homes, they've made it all pretty, they've put a new kitchen in, they didn't redo the wiring. Why? It's expensive. So if I was looking at an older home, would I want the wiring to already be redone? Yes, unless I was looking for a project. Next thing's plumbing. The plumbing should have been replaced by now as well. Most of those homes are going to have pipes that would have corroded by now had they not been replaced. Now, if for some reason the piping hasn't been replaced, does that mean it's an absolute deal killer? No, but make sure you're getting a very thorough inspection and get a sewer scope inspection. That's where they send a little camera down the pipes to see if there's issues, because you don't want to buy a house and then suddenly there's water coming up the bathtub. Oh, the seller didn't tell me. The seller's never going to tell you if they have that problem. And you're like, what do I do? And then a plumber comes out. They're like, we have to repipe the whole house. You're tearing up floors. You're tearing up everything. It is incredibly expensive. So plumbing, so critical. Foundation. Now, people go, well, wait, are foundations that are older not as good? No, honestly, some of the older foundations are way better than what are being poured now. But you want to make sure you're checking the foundation. I recommend that with all houses, but especially with an older house, you want to know, because like, what if you're like cool with, what if it's deemed historic? You're like, okay, it's deemed historic. I'm cool with that. And plumbing's good, electrical's good. Oh, I just have to replace the foundation. I just have to replace the foundation, guys, is never cheap. And you may be like, oh, the owner has a quote for $5,000. Why didn't they do it? Because it's not really $5,000. Like, no one knows what a foundation is going to cost until they dig into it. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. So foundation is something I would definitely be paying attention to. Also, it's the other things. It's the little things you wouldn't necessarily think about. It's like air conditioning. Right? There's a lot of older homes, of course they don't have air conditioning. That didn't exist in 1910, 1920, and they weren't built to accommodate for air conditioning. So that's something you have to consider as well. If you're looking at an older home, the area is now warmer and air conditioning is important to you, I would be getting a quote, how do I put air conditioning in this house? Because with some of them, you really can't without really disrupting the look. So that's something I would definitely be paying attention to. Now, everything else is stuff you'd be looking across the board, like, heating. No one's gonna have the heating system from 1910 still. That would be shocking, right? And look, a heater that's 5 years old could be just as bad. But the key thing with all of this is you need to know what you're getting into, and you want to ask lots of questions. Now, the other thing to consider is deferred maintenance. Deferred maintenance is a problem no matter how old the house is. However, if a house has deferred maintenance of 100 years, odds are it's going to be a money pit, right? Just think about it. If no one's fixed things in that house for 100 years, how many things could go wrong? I'll have clients where they're like, Jen, it's a great deal. I'm like, look at the ceiling. It's caving in. This is a no, right? Deferred maintenance is never good, especially if it's been going on for 100+ years. The other thing to consider is the roof. Now, a lot of these houses don't have newer roofs, so roofing could be something that you're going to have to do in the near future. Complicated roof lines cost more. So if you currently live in a house that's a square and you're like, oh, well, when I re-roofed this house, it was $15,000. And now you're looking at a house that has all these beautiful spirals and it's, different levels, just gorgeous. It's going to be a lot more to re-roof. So if roofing is going to be in the near future, I would recommend getting a quote just to make sure you can afford it, because you don't want to end up in that beautiful older home where you've got buckets in all the different rooms because re-roofing it is $50,000 or $100,000. I'm just making up numbers, but it's something to consider. So look, I think older homes are amazing and magical. Oh, one last thing. Older homes often have steeper staircases, so you definitely want to be mindful of that if it's multi-story. Make sure you can really handle it. And if you carry a lot of stuff or luggage, like do the suitcase test. If you're getting ready to buy the house, make sure you're measuring those hallways to see if you can even get your furniture up. It's not a reason to not buy a house, but it is something you want to make sure you're doing. Lastly, floor leveling. So a lot of the older homes may not have level floors anymore. They've settled. You want to make sure if that bothers you that you're getting a quote up front. Leveling floors is not cheap or easy. So if you're walking through a house and you're like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. This is way higher than this, but the foundation's okay. It's all good. I'll just level the floors. Get a quote. Okay, so buying an older home can be an amazing experience and you can have a great time and it can be so beautiful and wonderful. Just make sure you know what you're getting into so that you're financially prepared. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching.